was saying before I was so rudely interrupted. This is your host, Steve from the back, coming at you again. And I wanted to talk about in this rant today about a couple of things. So now I don't like to go around here picking fights and picking arguments, and I know there's this YouTube trend where people target other people's videos and they basically made clones of other people's videos. One person rants about something and then there's a bunch of clone videos of that, and then someone has a rebuttal, and so on and so forth. And I don't want to do exactly that, but sometimes I see stuff on videos and then I have to comment on it and I have to have a rebuttal myself, personally. Sharing an opposite opinion. Because I just have a different opinion, sometimes a polar opposite opinion than people have on certain videos. And the reason why I have polar opposite opinion is because it just is what it is. I just happen to have a different opinion. So I saw this video, man, and first off, part of the video was getting mad at a girl or whatever, because let's be honest, you guys, this girl did some dirty things with the dog in the house. She had the dog in the house, and I guess, I don't know what to call it. How you even say it? She basically cheated on her man with the dog. And now I'm not promoting that. Come on, you can't. To be real, that's a hard thing for me to really try to, because I don't know how to really view that. I could argue that, okay, the dog can't consent to that, so it's abuse, okay. It's a male dog. Now, mind you, too, this is a dog, a male dog, and a female human person. This is bestiality, you guys. This is not even, this is a taboo. This is something that is not even, in the friggin' realm of anything normal at all. This is outside of my knowledge. This is beyond anything I have a reference for to even speak about, to be honest with you guys. I don't know anything about this. The only thing I knew about dogs is when I was growing up was I wished I had a dog. I never had a dog because we were poor. My cousin had dogs, because they made a little bit more money. My cousin's father was the landlord. So, come on, you guys. But, with all that being said, just saying. However this story went down, this girl cheated with the dog. Literally. Let's just, if we just be real and just, say this is what happens without trying to be sweet about it. She cheated on her boyfriend with the dog, of all things, with the dog. And I'm okay, so I could argue the dog can't consent. So I could say that this is a bad thing. I could say it's abuse. But then I could also say, did the dog in this situation, was the dog with this? Who initiated this? Did she initiate it, or did the dog initiate it? Because what I want to know is, I feel if I'll put it like this, and you can call me whatever you want, you can judge me however you want. If she initiated that, or she somehow thought she could coax the dog into this, or she what's the word? She encouraged this behavior with the dog, or not forced, but she technically forced because she kept trying to find ways to coax the dog into this. Well, then I would say it's abuse. That's the only way I could really say it, I guess, so that's how I would look at it, you know what I mean? I would say that that's wrong, and I would say then that's abuse, but I'll also be 100% honest, as I always am on this channel, and say, if the dog was the fucking, I know it's weird sound, but if the dog was the initiator of this, and the dog just would not stop or whatever, then, I'm not judging anybody in the situation. I'm not judging her. I'm not judging the dog. I'm just saying, like, whatever. You know what I mean? But I have a feeling that that's not exactly how that shit went. But this is not about actual, like, animal dogs. This rant is not about dogs. You know what I mean? Technically, it's not really technically just like about dogs in that sense. Now, this channel we talk about cryptozoology, and often on this channel we speak on the dog men, we speak on the Seneca Folly, the dog men, the dog man, whatever name you want to put on it. We speak on that creature because that creature is a very prominent and very popular nowadays. Well, it was popular back then, but it's probably maybe more. I don't know, more. Maybe I don't want to say more, but I say it's very popular because the internet nowadays. So everybody's talking about it, about this creature. This is a real thing. This is a creature, just like you and me. This is some type of just a creature, you know. But this dog man. There's a couple things I wanted to talk about. Like, I really wanted to talk about pretty much to make some points on this rant, okay? So, one thing in particular about dogs in particular, which is strange about dogs, is... And I saw a rant to where they criticized this lady, which they probably rightfully should, but one thing I did not agree with on this rant that this person went on was when they said that, like, oh, you know... They basically demonized, it's like they demonized a dog in itself. Like, it's like the woman is more or less, it's really the woman that's more or less the problem, probably. A dog in itself, see, this is one thing, and I'm sorry, you guys, but I have to comment on it because certain people put themselves in a position to where I have to comment on you because you're opposing what I consider is truth, so I have to now speak out and combat the nonsense and the misinformation that you put out there. So you get a lot of very, like, it usually comes from a place of spirituality where people, you know, they make it seem like as if a dog in itself is the most lowly creature, you know, almost like it's like this expendable, hated creature that is just so lowly. And it's just this almost like a pest, like a maggot or something. Like, it's this thing that is just so disgusting and so lowly and so expendable, and it's a pest. And then when you really think of it, a lot of this is coming from countries to where animals are mistreated. You know, they don't have the proper rights, so people can get away with actually treating animals a certain way. You know, then you also have the compound of a certain religious system. And this does partially tie into Christianity to itself, where they're viewing, because you gotta understand, like, a lot of Christian beliefs technically came from, like, Judaism. A lot of it comes from things that are more Middle Eastern, actually. Like, it's not even, I wouldn't even say it's Judaism, you know what I mean? But it's Middle Eastern. It's definitely not American, you know what I mean? Like, you guys have these mentalities of looking at dogs as if dogs are these dispendable, disgusting, pesty pests that have no value, and they're, like, so low, you know what I mean? And then some people, like this person on this rant, actually went out and to say, like, oh, well, the dog is, it's lower than a person. Like, duh, it's lower than a person. Like, come on, you guys. Like, if we're this intelligent, clearly a dog is lower in a way than a person, but that's kind of an asshole move. That's kind of like me saying that I'm higher than an autistic person that is a very Down syndrome. It's like, really, it's okay, yeah, technically it's true, but why the fuck would you say it like that? It's that thing. Like, really, this is my whole thing on this channel. Like, you know, you're just being a dick. You're technically just being a dick when you say it in that way. Like, what are you doing? You know, it's like, why would you say it like that? You know, it's like, you don't realize you're just being a dick at that point, saying something like that. Like, oh, okay, there is. Well, but the thing about a dog is it lacks intelligence. Duh. Okay. But what you're not understanding about the dog, people, what you're not understanding, people that would say something so dumb like that, And, you know, I'll just be honest. Never mind, I'm not even going to say that. But what I'm saying is, when you look at certain animals and you start talking mega shit like that, one thing you're leaving out is because you're calling yourself spiritual. You think you're fucking spiritual, obviously, or else you would not be saying anything like that, especially knowing in America how much people love dogs, how much endearment people have for dogs in general, and how over history we've developed alongside with dogs. Like, clearly, if you want to talk about energy, you want to talk about like genetic memory, things like that, there's so much ingrained in the literal fabric of the ground that you walk on that, like, it literally, like, the percentage that a dog or dogs walked over that same path so many times that it's ingrained into, it's like you can't, you have to understand the how do I say this, the energy that is positive, you know what I mean, like the endearment that we have towards these dogs has been pumped into them for centuries. It's not even just centuries, it's been pumped into them in modern times. It's something, it's almost like, so if that energy has been literally channeled into dogs, like every time you show a dog an affection, like most people, you don't even know their dogs. Like you automatically, usually are more apt to have like positive feelings towards a dog than you do even towards a person. It's like if you look at it, like, because it's more or less more innocent in a way than a person is. You know what I mean? It's like a person is how do I say this? A person's more intelligent than a dog. But the thing is, generally, if a dog is not, this is just usually, if a dog is not threatened, a dog usually would be actually kinder than a person would be. If, as long as they know that they're not in like a threatening situation, because inherently, this is the thing people don't really understand. Usually, inherently, canines are not really that mean inherently. It's just as a defense mechanism, they have to be mean because they're bred in an environment that has to do with, like I said before, I've talked about this, about dominance. It has to do with violence. It has to do with all these things because they're from the wild. But inherently, once they realize they're not, whichever way in that type of situation, they're generally usually kind. And that goes for, I feel like, mostly almost any type of canine. You know what I mean? Even if it is like a dog man or something like that. That's just an inherent canine thing. Canines are not these like angry, raging, super violent, hyper violent things that some people try to make them out to be like. Just saying. Like I said, when you see that type of behavior, that's more or less a defensive mechanism and a protective mechanism, and that's mostly what that is. That's not like it's just sheer essence of a canine. Now, if you're talking about just something being like energetic and hyper, generally canines do seem to be hyper, but that doesn't mean it's like a violent type of, no, so you're getting it really twisted. So I'm just trying to say, when you hear all this bullshit about like, oh, the dog, this lowly, it's like, you're first off, that's you're projecting. That's what that really is. You're projecting more or less, And okay, I'm just gonna say it. Us that are people of color, you guys got a lot of healing to do because it's a lot of projection when it comes to canines. Let's just be honest. Someone's gonna say, no, you can't go there. Don't you go? No, well, I'm going there. I'm going there. Let's be real here, you guys. There's more of us people that look like myself out here that don't like dogs, that are afraid of dogs. You didn't grow up around enough dogs. You couldn't afford a dog as a companion in the family, so you didn't have a fucking pet dog. You didn't get acquainted with them. You didn't, because you're black or you're of color like myself. Let's fucking be real. Most generally white people tend to be more acquainted with dogs. Someone's gonna say, oh, you can't. Well, prove me wrong. If you think it's bullshit, Prove me wrong. I'd like to see you prove me wrong, right? Silence. Nothing. You have nothing. Exactly. That's my point. So, this is my point. A lot of you people out here that was trying to say something like, oh, well, you know, a dog is a... No. You're totally getting it all wrong. Okay, when you're talking about dogs, generally, if you really look at a dog and you really break down a dog is something that has a very protective nature, okay? A dog is something that is simple. It's not intelligent, really, unless you're not that intelligent. But it has its own type of intelligence, but it's not on par. It's not very intelligent. But a dog is something that more or less has a propensity to protect human beings. That's just that simple. To coexist with human beings, it has certain wants and certain needs, like it needs to be fed. The thing probably wants to play. It has a pack mentality. It's a dog, but it's also very protective. Okay? A dog is not something. If you break a dog down to like a very base level, even to like a soul level, a dog is not a very threatening thing, really. It's really not. It's threatening more like, how do I say this? It's threatening relative to who it is it's dealing with. That's how a dog really is. It's like, for instance, if you're a complete stranger, a person's dog doesn't have references. It doesn't have all these references to build upon to say like, okay, yeah, that person is like part of this pack. I can trust this person. This person is not a threat. This person is this or that, or I have a liking to this person. I can trust. No, because it's a dog. Like, you gotta understand the intellect too. But that doesn't make it this lowly, dirty, pesky thing. Because this is something I will always speak on. I will always say this, and I will always call it the elephant in the room. This is one of the biggest things with us as human beings, is we always want to put ourselves on a pedestal and claim that we're so great and we're so beyond this, we're always so beyond that. That's only because you have your intelligence that you're even able to formulate that type of understanding, that type of dogma. Like, you're like, because you're so, you're intelligent, you think you're not is based. Like, you're saying, oh, well, it's lowly because it's unintelligent, or it's lowly because it's base. But you gotta understand, like, you with your sex drive to bust nuts, you with your intestinal system to take dumps, you with your funky fucking body that sweats all the time and has to take showers and smells like a fucking trash can or a sack of fucking Polish kielbasa just sitting in the dumpster for like days outside in vinegar and shit, and whatever the fuck you motherfuckers you smelling like, all of that shit is just as fucking disgusting and as lowly as any other animal that runs around here on all fours. That's what it really is. You know what I mean? It's just your brain is on a different level, and it causes you to put yourself on a pedestal, and to such a degree that you would dare say something so arrogant and ignorant, to say like, oh, this creature is lowly. It's like thinking, oh, so you're telling me that this thing is inherently lowly? That's totally, you're blowing it way out of, you're blowing everything out of proportion at that point. So that's when I have to call bullshit. When bullshit needs to be called, I'm calling bullshit. I do it all the time, and I'm doing it in this rant. This is just another rant of probably, it could be hundreds of rants at this point, where I'm just calling bullshit where it is. Stop the nonsense. Some of you people out here just simply don't like dogs. Like, fuck, I'm just gonna call it as it is, and dare somebody to fucking say something, because I'm on that level at this point. I don't care. I would dare you to say something, because I can fight you and argue. I'm that type of person. I can fight and argue. So, however you want to come at me with this, be welcome to. You are welcome to. Okay? Go for it. Because I guarantee that you will lose. I guarantee at this point, you will find yourself in a position to where you are saying, oh, okay, and made yourself look dumb. Open your mouth and insert your fucking foot. Because, look here, that shit, you're on some dumb shit. Like I'm gonna say it again, I know it's gonna hurt people's feelings, and I hope it does hurt your feelings. And it's sad because I'm a black person myself. But I'm gonna tell you this. Like I said, a lot of you people just don't fucking like dogs. It's like that. Like, it's one thing that you're a coward and you are unintelligent and you're all these things. So when you look at the dog man, which is literally like a part of yourself and a canine being at the same time, it's part of you, it's part of nature, it's canine. You're looking at this thing and you are having all these type of judgments and all this preconceived and all this stuff, but when you look at your own ugly ass, for some reason you think that you're special, or you think you're pretty, or I don't know what the fuck you think you are, but you're not. You're nothing. You're nothing special. You're not fucking pretty. You're not as smart as you think. You're not. You're not so separate from any other fucking thing like you fucking think. So with all that being said, I love throwing you under the bus. It's like I love telling you what you don't want to hear because you need to hear it. Because you put yourself on a fucking pedestal. That's all you're doing. And it's stupid. It's just arrogant and fucking stupid. That's all you're doing. And think of it this way. If you already don't like dogs, like I said, some of you people out here already, you got these, these mentalities. And then you have like, you have religious dogmas. You have very cultural habits and things set in place that reinforce and give you more excuses to still be the way you are. So even if you have some sense of conscience, that reinforcement helps you to get over that, and you still become more of the asshole that you're trying to be. And that's all that is, you guys. So I'm basically judging you. You're like, all you did was just judge us. Oh, exactly. That's all. I don't give a fuck. That's all I did was just judge you. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. I don't give a fuck. That's what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Two can play this game, you guys. You guys can judge me. You can say, oh, well, you're a Satanist. You're of left-hand leaning path. What do you know? You're a Satan. You're evil. In fact, you're actually evil itself. Actually, if you really... And so be it. And so what? Okay. And what next? Okay, alright. Because I know who I am. I don't give a fuck. That's what I'm saying. Like, I know I'm at peace with who I am. In fact, I take pride in who I am. Because I know my value. Boom, that's where it is. That's the mic drop right there. That's what it is. I know who I am, I know what I am, and I know my fucking value. Do you know your value? Can you say how much value do you actually have? Do you even know who the fuck you are? Are you in denial of who you are? Are you hiding who you are? See, this is what I mean. These are the questions. See? That's what I mean. Open your fucking mouth and stick your foot right in it. That's all you're doing. I don't need to even say anymore. This is your host, Steve from the back, coming at you live, again, raw, unscripted. As always, this is what I mean. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe in modern fucking, these modern trends and this modern, acceptable socially. Don't believe any of this shit. This shit is nonsense, you guys. It's just something to distract you. That's all it is. It's just something to keep you lost and keep you, off a path that would actually help you. It's just to control you and keep you weak and keep you malleable and docile and controllable. And that's all that shit is, man. That's all it ever was designed to do. To make you feel good about yourself. To basically give you a blue pill. Make you feel good about yourself. Knowing, really, you should be knowing that you're actually inadequate and that you're missing out and that you actually missed the train, so to speak, and you missed the actual point, and to keep you lost. And then you look at a person like myself and you have all these judgments and all these things to say, but the joke is really always on you, because if you would just fucking listen, if you would just actually listen, then you would be able to start to come out of it. You start to be able to heal. You start to be able to be on the path to understanding something. But because, like I said, you've been duped, you've been fooled, you continue to believe the bullshit, and you put your chest out, and you keep your head up, and you walk around like you think you know, but you don't know anything. But to me, it's a joke, because it's like, okay, you're deluded. You're just in delude. You're deluding yourself. You're deluded. You're deluded as fuck. You're deluded as fuck, and maybe nothing will knock you off your pedestal, but it's going to be a hilarious moment when the truth actually comes and smacks you upside your head and actually would knock you off your fucking pedestal. And then, like I said, you open your mouth and stick your fucking foot right in it. And then you actually realize something. There you go, you guys. It is what it is. Boom, there you go. So, like, comment, and sub. I hope some of you out here that, have an ear to hear, you learn something. I mean, some of the shit I hear online is some people say very valuable things and you can learn things, but some of you people, you say the dumbest shit, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna let that shit slide. When I heard some of that shit, I was watching this rant, I heard that shit, I was like, nah, I'm not gonna let that slide. Like, I was like, I'm gonna rant, I'm gonna have a comeback because it was so ignorant, it was just disgusting. The ignorance, like, nah, I'm not just gonna sit there and let you just fucking say that shit. No. So until next time, you guys have a good one.